Good morning. Oh man, hang on one second. I know they're here somewhere. All right, so I will call this meeting to order on May 10th, 2021. Meeting of Old Town Local Review Board. We are conducting today's meeting in a virtual setting using Zoom. Members of the public may view and listen to the meeting live online through the city's website as noted. Whose feedback? Is that me? Hang on. Is that better? I'm still doing it. All right. Hang on.
Ross, I don't know if it's you or not, but if you're not speaking, if you could just go ahead and mute yourself, that would probably help solve that problem.
All right. All right, is that better? All right, sorry.
It would appear that Ross is probably trying to log back in to try and eliminate the feedback. So we'll just hang tight here for a minute and see if we get him back.
For those members of the public who are joining the meeting, please stand by. We have started our call to order at 9:14 a.m. Our chairperson, Jackson, is having some technical issues, so please stand by. Thank you.
To see if we actually have a quorum if he's unable to attend. Looks like it's just me and you, Mr. Blair.
Really?
Everyone else seems to have fallen off a short cliff.
Wow.
I'm in here too, Michael.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah. For some reason, you weren't showing up.
No worries.
So we need 3 people for a quorum. Isn't that correct?
That's correct, but Ross is back.
Okay, great.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, so I have to, for some odd reason, I can't do this. I'm gonna have to do it through my phone, but I still see a picture of me. Sorry, guys. There's gonna be a little bit of a reverberation. Turned off the volume. Let's see. Okay. Maybe I should do this.
Got a little bit of a reverb, but I think as long as everybody else mutes, we'll be able to get through it.
All right. I'm gonna just go straight to the phone instead of the computer. I don't like that reverberation. Are we better now?
Yes.
That's better. Yeah, you've lost that little reverb going.
All right, I'm sorry, guys. All right, so back to order of business. Let me answer or repeat the last part. Members of the public may view
Blocked for everyone else. So I lost him when he said members of the public may view. Did everyone else lose him then?
Yes.
Okay. As long as I'm not alone. That's
Right.
So I just got a call from the city. I think what we're going to do is we're going to try for me to lead it and as the vice. Of course, I haven't done that before, but I look at the scripts and so forth. So I might need your guys' help.
Michael, I just emailed the script to you.
Oh, okay, great.
So if you're able to get into your emails, you should be receiving that shortly.
Excellent. of here? Do we want to just start over, or do we want to pick up from a specific place? What? Can you give me some guidance how you want to go here?
If I may, I'd like to mention that the order of the meeting was called at 9:14 a.m. and our chairperson Jackson is having technical server issues. So we will have Vice Chair Bays lead the meeting, starting with the, I will call to order the meeting of May 10th, 10/21.
Okay. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
I would call to order the May 10, 2021 meeting of the Old Town Local Review Board. We're conducting today's meeting in a virtual setting using Zoom. Members of the public may view and listen to the meeting live online through the city's website as noted on the agenda. I'd like to start with the roll call. Board Secretary, may we have a roll call?
Board Member Bays, I think you might want to just pull your mic down on your headset. Yeah, there you go.
I will do the roll call. Board Member Bays,
Thank you.
present.
Bays present.
Blair,
Present.
Duvall,
Present.
Jackson. I see he is present, but his mic is on mute. And then Board Member Moore, who is absent.
I'm doing the roll call right now.
Thank you, Secretary. Moving on, do we have any public comments? I'm going to take that as no public comments at this time.
Hold on 1 second.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
Do you have public comments?
There are no public comments.
Thank you. We'll move on to the consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine, and all will be enacted by one roll call vote. There will be no discussion of these items unless members of the local review board request specific items to be removed from the consent calendar for separate action. Item number 1.1 on the agenda is for the approval of the action minutes of March 15th, 2021.
I move approval.
We have a move approval. Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a second. The board secretary, can we conduct a roll call vote?
Sorry, who is our second from?
Oh.
Val?
That'd be for me, Juan del Val.
Okay, so our roll call vote. Board Member Blair,
Yes.
Board Member Bays,
Yes.
Board Member Duvall.
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0 with Member Blair making motion and Duvall seconding.
Excellent. Our board business, number 2 is planning application number PA 20-1025. Item number 2 on the agenda is the planning application, a development plan application to construct an approximately 18,630 square foot building totaling 3 stories. Can I please get a staff report?
Thank you very much. Can everybody see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. PA 20-1025 is a development plan for an approximately 18,600 square foot building totaling 3 stories. The project is located in the red boxed area you see before you on the aerial along Old Town Front Street. As mentioned a moment ago, the building is 3 stories. The anticipated uses will be restaurants on the 1st and 3rd floor and offices on the 2nd floor. The applicant has activated the street frontage in a number of ways. The first thing they've done is they've incorporated a 2-story gallery frontage. That's going to allow some nice outdoor dining along Old Town Front Street. They have multiple points of pedestrian access into the building along Front Street. There's also a nice common kind of eating area right off of Front Street in the center, which we'll see when we look at the elevations. They'll be inviting for people to come in. There's also an alley directly adjacent to the building on the north, and the applicant has designed the building as such to where all their utilities, trash, things of that nature will all be taken off the alley, and that's per the Old Town specific plan requirements. Take a look at the site plan. Here's the first floor. The bottom arrow there, that's showing the main entrance. It's pointing right towards the center. And you can see as you walk through that center entrance, there's that kind of communal eating place, if you will. There's also two separate entrances off to the left and off to the right. Those take you into other suites. And then the arrow on the upper left, that's pointing there in the alley where the trash, the electrical room, things like that will be taken from. Take a look at the second and third floors. You can just see here how they've kind of had their space designed. You got the second floor there on the left, third floor on the right. Architecturally, as I've said a couple times now, the building is 3 stories. They are going to incorporate the Spanish Mission Revival architectural style that's in the specific plan. Some of the elements indicative of that style you see in the project are the stucco finish, got wrought iron throughout. The galleries that I've mentioned with the round arches, clay roofing tiles, and exposed rafter tails. They're going with a commercial block building type with the 2-story gallery frontage, incorporating those together. There's also a minor exception that the applicant has applied for the columns, the column width, excuse me. The Old Town specific plan calls them out at being a maximum of 14 feet. For this project, they're 14 feet, 10 inches. So they're just barely over, but they've applied for a minor exception to allow that to occur. Take a look at the elevations now. This is the west elevation. This is what would be facing Old Town Front Street. You can see there that very dramatic entryway in the center that brings the focal point of the building right there to the center. This would be along the alley. This is where they'd be getting their trash, utilities, and whatnot. And you can also see they incorporated an area there for a mural. So that'll help provide visual interest to the project. And then this is the south elevation. And then this is the east, the rear, basically. The applicants also provided a few photo sims to kind of get more of a 3D look of things. This right here is the view from Old Town Front Street. And then just very slightly to the north, kind of looking down towards the building. This is another view here as well. Based on the information that's presented, staff requests that the board review, provide any comments, and hopefully recommend that the project be approved. This concludes staff's presentation. I'm available for any questions. We also have the applicant on the Zoom if you'd like to chat with her. Thank you very much.
Can anybody hear me right now?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes.
Before we move on, I want to back up on our agenda just to read the information about submitting comments. So as a reminder, this meeting is being conducted utilizing teleconferencing and electronic means. Any public comments that were accepted electronically via email or by mail will be read into the record. Details associated with viewing the meeting, ADA accommodations, and submitting public comments were available on the agenda and on the city's social media platforms. And that was it. Thank you.
Okay, this is Chairman Jackson. Is Eric, are you available?
Yes, sir.
This is the location next to the Palomar Hotel.
That is correct.
So they're going to request a demo permit to knock down the old root beer, shall we say, the root beer store?
That is correct. They'll have to pursue your typical demo approvals.
All right. And have you received the color palettes and everything?
We have everything that's required in the application.
Okay. I would have liked to have seen the color selections for the, I think the board would like to see the color selections. They're not on the drawings, right, or the plans?
They're not on the elevations, no.
They're noted on the elevations.
Yeah, but I don't have the actual like swatches for the presentation, but they do use the coloring that is required in the Old Town specific plan.
Right. Let's see what it says on page A2. Santa Barbara finish, okay. Color is a Swiss Domer white, okay. Yeah, so the colors are on there. It's just not the actual colors,
Not the swatches, no.
not the swatches, no. Okay. On the drawings, I noticed that your plans are mislabeled. Your first floor is fine. Your second floor is showing the restaurant on the second floor and not on the third floor. Was that just a typo?
That's correct. They're still kind of working out which floor the second or the third is going to have the restaurant or office. That hasn't entirely been buttoned down, but
Oh, okay.
those are the uses they will be having. And
Okay.
they've not identified any specific tenants as of yet, but at this stage in the game, they're certainly free to still kind of have a little bit of flexibility there. This has not gone to planning commission as of yet. So.
Yeah. Well, I was just noticing the front page said that third floor was the restaurant. And when I went looking through the paperwork, it showed it on the second floor.
That's correct.
And I just thought it was a typo anyhow. So it was not a big deal.
The third floor is intended to be the restaurant.
Yes, that's kind of what I figured as well. Okay. Well, and you are?
Oh, Gabriela Marks, I'm the architect for the project.
Oh, Gabrielle, this is I personally like the exterior look of the project. I like the decorative paver panel that's in your foyer, right?
Thank you.
Yes, and I definitely like the arches of the windows and the seating area that you have on both sides of the entry doors. And the mural on is that going to be a tile mural or is that going to be a?
Yeah,
Wow, it's quite impressive.
thank you.
Um,
And as we go in a little bit deeper, my client was asking if we could make those patios in the front a little bit larger since they appear to be a lot more popular now, but we have our build line so that we can definitely discuss that.
the one thing I wanted to also ask, where did it go? I'm looking for the first floor.
Would you like me to share my drawings?
No, I have it here.
Okay.
Have you addressed the transformer for your building?
No, none of the plans that you have. I did have a conversation with SG&E in that area where we have the electrical room and the trash is gonna have to get rearranged. Just so a corner of the building is gonna be notched over there on the back for the transformer.
Okay. Also, I noticed that you had your mailboxes inside the building.
Yes,
Are you aware that the post office doesn't like to get out of their truck and walk that far to get to their mailboxes?
I was not aware of that.
Isn't that quite true, Mr. Blair?
I don't, if you say so.
Oh,
Can
yes.
can they be on the alley side? Is that okay?
That would be a question for the Postal Service,
Okay,
because they typically would like them to be on the front street.
yeah, we just have such a little frontage and we are required to have so much glazing and the areas, and now we have the fire riser room that has to be in the front of the building. So the areas where we can put stuff are getting smaller and smaller.
Your fire riser can be located in your trash room.
Really? Because I
Yes.
received a comment specifically saying that it needed to be facing Old Town Front Street, that it couldn't be facing the alley. I
Well,
got a comment from the fire department, and I would very much like to move it to face the alley.
I guess that would be a fire department issue then. Okay.
Make a note of that.
Yeah, that's the only thing I noticed is that the mailboxes were inside the building. And I didn't see well, this is strictly a schematic drawing anyhow, so conceptual drawings. So. And all we're here to do is look at your color schemes and approve your colors and the architectural style of the building. All right, so I guess it's recommendation time from the board, correct?
Mr. Chairman, this is Luke. We might want to check
Yes,
with
sir.
the rest of the board, see if they have questions.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Chairman Blair? Chairman Blair, do you have any questions?
I don't really have any questions, no.
Okay. Is Chairman Moore available?
She's not present.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't hear that first part. And forgive me for the screw up on my computers this morning. Chairman DeVal?
No questions.
Chairman Bays?
No questions.
Okay, I guess that Board Secretary, could you please call for motions?
We first have to ask if there's any public comment.
Is there any public comments?
And we have not received any public comments on this item.
Okay. Do we have a motion and a second?
I move that the, okay, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I motion that we approve this.
I'll second
Okay.
the motion.
Okay, so we have a motion from Bays to accept and Blair. Okay.
Do the roll call.
Roll call, please.
Board member Bays,
Approve.
Blair,
Approved.
Well,
Approved.
Jackson.
Yes.
So the motion carries 4-0 with board member Bays making the motion and Blair seconding.
Correct. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you. Have a great
Okay.
week.
Thank you.
I think it's going to be a great building, really.
Yeah,
I
it's
really,
lovely. It's lovely.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
This is actually the first time I've seen something that really tickles the old fancy here, you know, as far
Yeah.
as the look and the great job, really.
the only thing I suspect that the neighbors next door, the apartment building, aren't going to like it as well as we do, probably.
Well, yeah, and that's the other, I guess that's for another discussion.
Yeah.
Luke, Mr. Watson,
Yes, sir.
have you heard anything about the Palomar Hotel and the open seating area that they have north of their building?
Well, I mean, we would, if we want to talk about that, we would have to put that on the agenda.
Okay.
Fortunately, it's not part of this agenda item.
Yes, no, it's just off topic. That's all. All right. Let's see. Eric, by the way, you did a great job of giving a report. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Did Chairman Bays, did you go over the meetings from last month and approve those?
Yes, we approved the information from the prior meeting.
Okay. I'm just trying to find out where we're at in my
Absolutely.
agenda here.
I think we're at the Director of Public Works report at this point.
Okay, that would be you, sir. Welcome back. Did you have a great vacation?
I don't know, Pat, did you have a vacation?
I did.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking to you, Luke. Apologize.
No, I get it. Goofing around.
I've got a brief report here for you on a few projects that Public Works has been working on in Old Town. One is the Sam Hicks project. As you know, we installed and completed the new playground, which has been very successful in Sam Hicks Park. Gets a lot of use and really has been a nice upgrade to the park. We also have plans to install rail fencing around the perimeter of the park. Contract has been awarded for that, and the material is on order and waiting for that to come in. And hopefully that'll be installed within the next, I'll say 30 to 60 days, depending on delivery of the material. So that's moving along. Another project is one that we've been working on 5th Street in the vicinity of the project that you just approved. And that is two things. One is to underground an existing overhead pole on 5th Street on the south side of the Palomar Hotel. So we are waiting for Southern California Edison plans to be able to implement that undergrounding. We'll eliminate that one pole that's there on the south side of the hotel, and their service will be provided underground. And then we will be moving ahead with installing the permanent street improvements on the frontage there of the Palomar Hotel. So the rolled curb and the sidewalk on 5th Street so that there's a continuous sidewalk on the north side of 5th Street. And then we also have a project to improve the road and to add the sidewalk on the north side of 5th Street, west of Old Town Front Street. And that project has been moving along. We should have plans ready for that fairly soon. And I would imagine that will be bid out and under construction before the end of the year here. So that concludes my report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any board members have any questions for Mr. Thompson?
I have no questions.
Okay. All right, then I guess we'll move on to the community development report.
I think next is the board members' reports, and then
Oh, sorry,
the Director of Community Development.
apologies. Okay, any board members have any reports? I'd ask my colleagues.
I have a report. I was wondering if we needed to schedule it separately. On advice of the meetings that we had with the council and the individual meetings we were having, I took it on myself to do a walk of the Old Town area and talk to several of the businesses there to get some feedback on how the city is doing and how they're doing. But I didn't know if we needed to schedule a separate meeting for that or a separate agenda item for that.
No, I think if you just have a report on what happened during your walk, I think this is the perfect time for you to go ahead and do that.
Great. So what I did was I have some background in trying to gather unbiased information. So I went to 4 of the businesses, also talked to a small set of people that were obviously kind of visiting the area, and I asked 3 questions. I asked what's the city doing that's actually helping you? What's the city doing that's possibly not helping you very much? And if Temecula could do anything imaginable to help you, what would it be? And then what I did is I just kind of got their free-form feedback and looked for similarities and looked for issues that seem to have some level of commonality. In the first one, I asked what the city's doing to help, and it was absolutely unanimous. And this was all, not, I didn't ask them specifically for an answer or give them any sort of multiple choice answer. They came up with this answer on their own, was that they said that the police presence is unbelievably great. They see it lowering the public drunkenness issue. It lowers a lot of the other sorts of problems and conflict sort of things that crop up. And they have had two of the folks had also said that the police that were actually doing the work had gone on their own initiative and introduced themselves to the businesses and said we're here. They gave out their cards if they have any problems, and people were just saying it's like one of the best things that's happened in a long time. And so there was a lot of positive response on that. Any questions on that one before I go on?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah,
That
it was real
does sound good.
Yeah, it was really good. The other one that they said was helping, with all things considered with the COVID crisis, was the seating on the sidewalk areas that the city had, allowed to occur, and kind of the speed with which that was able to happen. There was a lot of, a lot of positive statements saying that was something that's just kind of helped tremendously in the operation, of the businesses. In the next one, I asked, you asked, what we're doing to help and what's not helping that much. And there were a couple of comments on the not helping much. Some of the businesses said there was a concern about what the rules were about alcohol carry on the street from business to business. And that was something that seemed to be kind of unclear to them. Two of the four businesses I talked to, had brought that up, but it wasn't anything that was a major, any sort of like major negative concern. And then that was really the only common, the common issue that people had. People didn't really seem to have really any negative, issues as a whole. There wasn't anything that they could think of. So that was really the only thing. So there was seemed to be a question about clarification on that. And then the last question was, if Temecula could do anything imaginable, what would you want Temecula to do to help you? And the first answer was interesting. There were two businesses that came back with this. Was they believed that we should look into regulating the ability to carry alcohol along Front Street for people, I was told was done in some other cities, in popular areas where people were actually allowed to carry alcohol on the street. I'm guessing like in cups and glasses or so forth from business to business. They thought that would be something that would be very helpful. The other issue they brought up was they think that there's been a lot of improvement with this seating on the sidewalk area, and they would invite an open discussion, across the city and Old Town as to what's the right thing to do there, because they see that kind of making it a much more alluring area, a much more festive sort of area that kind of brings the street together better. And there was a number of comments about how this was potentially an opportunity where we've discovered something that works really well for us, and we should have a discussion about how we move it forward. The last comments were from, I just picked a group at random that was there enjoying the boardwalk. They happened to be from Los Angeles. They said that they were surprised and very happy to see things opened up on Old Town. They weren't really sure what to expect. And they said that they loved it, and they had been coming for the last few weekends, and they wished that we could help open up the rest of California for them. That ends my report.
Okay, thank you very much. That was very insightful.
Very good, yes.
Deval? do you have anything?
No, nothing to report.
At this time, I have nothing to report as well. How is Chairperson Moore doing, Luke? Do you know?
No, I don't really have any new information there. So
Okay.
sorry, but I will certainly pass that along as soon as I get anything, if I get anything.
Okay. All right. Well, that concludes the board member reports. Director of Community Development report.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have anything specific today to report. I really appreciate Board Member Bay's update. That was really insightful. You're right, as it's not a agenda item, we can't have any back and forth on that, but you know, there's a lot going on behind the scenes. Obviously, the police presence is out in front, but we are having discussions internally about the future of outdoor dining, as you can imagine. So that will be a hot topic over the next few months, and the board will certainly be involved in all of those decisions. So just look out for that, and maybe start noodling that around your own heads about what you think is appropriate and what you don't think is appropriate. And so we'll be prepared to have those discussions here coming up in the next few months. So thank you for that. And also, I appreciate everyone going with the flow. A little bit of the choppiness on the meeting today with technical difficulties and things. Doesn't always work out perfectly. So I appreciate everybody just kind of hanging in there on that. Like Chairman Jackson mentioned, I'm just coming back from a vacation, so it's glad to be back. Glad to see everybody. And that concludes my report for today.
Thank you. Yes, I do apologize for technical difficulties this morning. Usually I'm well ahead of that, all of that stuff before I even get settled into a meeting. Today has been a little hectic. And I'm glad to see you're all well and rested from your vacation. Okay, well, that moves to code enforcement. Do we have a code enforcement report?
We do.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, for Old Town, what we've been, we just finished up, or we're in the middle actually of weed abatement. We've got the letters out. People are starting to respond with the vacant properties. You probably noticed a lot of the vacant properties have the weeds knocked down. We also are having some businesses that are over the decibel limit as far as noise goes, and we are dealing with that. And we do have a couple businesses that are still open beyond the hours of operation that they're supposed to be open.
And that's a couple of the bars. Because I can hear them when the wind's blowing just right. I can hear them at my house.
Yeah, as loud as some of them are, I'm surprised the wind has to be blowing.
Yeah. Okay. Any word on the illegal parking lots that are still springing up around here? Are we addressing any of those?
I haven't heard anything about those.
Okay. The one over on the corner of Fifth and Mercedes?
Where they're just parking on vacant property?
Yes, sir.
We don't have a code that says they can't park there.
Okay.
The only issue would be an NPDES issue if they are tracking mud, dirt onto the street.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, we code enforcement operates on a complaint basis as well.
Oh, okay.
So if we receive a complaint, then we will certainly follow up and make sure that, you know, the code is being followed. I have not received, I don't know if, Tom, maybe you can fill me in, but I don't believe we received any formal complaint about unauthorized parking in Old Town as of right now, but we may so in the future.
No, the only thing I got was some vehicles that have been in the same place for months. I've got 2 out of 3 gone. I'm still working on, there's a truck. I believe it's the same parking lot that he brought up.
Yes. There's a couple cars there.
Yeah,
Okay.
There were 3 that hadn't moved in quite some time, and 2 are gone now. So I'm still working on the 3rd.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your report. So, I guess that's pretty much it for today. Then I would like to, can we please have a motion and a second for adjournment?
I saw move.
Okay,
This is
Blair,
Michael Bays. I second the motion to adjourn.
okay. Mr. Stewart, could you please call?
Yes, sir. Board Member Bays,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Laval,
Yes.
and Jackson.
Yes.
So a motion from Board Member Blair, second from Bays, and motion carries 4-0.
All right, so our next regular meeting for Old Town Local Review Board will be held on Monday, June 14th, 2021 at 9 a.m. Thank you all very much for coming and attending today. Appreciate it.
Okay, we'll see you then.
Thank you.
See y'all. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Okay, bye.